I highly suggest that you watch this video prior to leaving for Army Basic Training. This will be an overview of what to expect in Army Basic Training in 2019, and it starts right now. Hi, I'm Sergeant First Class Schwartz, your local New York Army National Guard recruiter located in Midtown Manhattan. Welcome to another Basic Training Survival Tip Tuesday. If this is your first time here at Team Schwartz, welcome to my channel. If you're looking to learn more about how you can get physically and mentally prepared for what Army Basic Training has to bring, or to learn more about the Army or the Army National Guard, you can start now by hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell icon so you don't miss anything. You can count on me. I'm posting every week, weekly on Tuesdays between 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In summary, like I just informed you in the previous video, you'll first have to go through the Army Reception Battalion to process, which takes about 3 to 5 business days up to a week to complete. First, you'll go through a shakedown to get rid of any contraband that you're not supposed to have while at basic training. Reception is all about getting your paperwork done to make sure that you are administratively correct and that your paperwork is super tight and prepared for basic training. You'll go through a mini medical exam, you'll undergo a dental exam, possibly additional work. You'll go through various eye exams as well, and you'll be issued glasses, military standard issue for basic training. Males will get the haircut, so hopefully you have a good looking dome piece like this guy. And you get your haircut approximately every 2 weeks all throughout basic training. At the reception battalion, and it will be carried on you daily, every day throughout the reception and your basic training experience, your blue books. Your head will be buried into the blue book every time you are not physically or mentally engaged in an activity by your drill sergeants. If you want to check out that video, I'll post a link down below in the description about everything to expect at the reception battalion. Basic training is going to be one hell of an experience and a challenge, both physically and mentally, challenging you to unbelievable limits. To date, I have 18 years of experience within the Army National Guard, and I don't regret not one moment. Obviously, you're going to have your good days and your not so good days, but what you put into it is what you get out of it, just like anything in life, whether it's work, school, the military, you name it, you know it. Feel free to comment below what you're most excited about at Army Basic Training. So you've gotten through the reception battalion, and here you are at basic training. Welcome. Your life as you see it is about to change. Basic training will be at one of 4 locations throughout the United States. You'll go to basic training either at Fort Benning, at Fort Jackson, at Fort Sill, or Fort Leanordwood. Here you will be introduced to your drill sergeants, who will coach, shape, and mentor you into becoming a United States soldier. Basic training is approximately 10 weeks worth of training. Unless you mess up or piss off your drill sergeant, you will advance to the next phase of your training. But understand that if you mess up and you piss off your drill sergeant, you could go right back to red phase, where it's the strictest and toughest on you as a soldier, until the drill sergeants feel that you have earned the privilege to move up to the next phase that you were currently at. Because the Army as a whole, no matter what your job is in the Army, so that we all know the basic procedures and skill sets to work together and defend ourselves and our fellow comrades in the event that is needed. Basic training is broken down into 3 phases: red phase, white phase, and blue phase. Red phase being the strictest, the toughest on you as the recruit and them as the drill sergeants. Understand that it is stressful on the drill sergeant because, well, let's just put it this way. They're up before your mandatory wake up between 04:30 hours to 0500 hours and lights out at 2100 hours or 9 p.m. for you civilians. In red phase, drill sergeant's going to be all over you like white on rice on a white paper plate, sitting in the middle of the Arctic, beaten you up by a polar bear, pooping out a whole lot of snowflakes. And that is a whole lot of white. And you are going to be physically and mentally taxed every day, especially the first few days of Army Basic Training. But I promise you this, that you will make battle buddies for a lifetime. And with social media the way it is now, it is so much easier to stay in contact. So let's break down each phase of Army Basic Training and have a brief overview of what to expect at Army Basic Training. Later in other videos, I will break down each phase in ridiculous detail, so stay tuned for future videos. So if you haven't already done so, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything. Welcome to Red Phase. This is weeks 1 through 3 and commonly referred to as the Patriot Phase. As you go through the different phases of Army basic training, recruits will earn more privileges, responsibility, and independence. During Red Phase, you are constantly being monitored by your drill sergeants and led around by them in every shape, form, or fashion. Whereas in Blue Phase, you are largely responsible for yourselves and getting ready on time, accomplishing the tasks that the drill sergeants gave to you correctly, on time, and on schedule. The job of Red Phase is to transform you from a confused civilian into a confident soldier. You will learn the fundamentals of being a soldier, the Army heritage, and instilling, if you don't already have them, the 7 Army values. Most of your classroom instructions will occur at this time, to include your initial and your diagnostic Army Physical Fitness Test, or your APFT for short, which consists of 2 minutes worth of push-ups, 2 minutes worth of sit-ups, and running 2 miles in the shortest time possible. Or at least until the ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test, takes over later this year, starting in October of 2019. Stay tuned for another very informative video post on that. But for now, I will link a video that will give you a good overview of what to expect in the upcoming ACFT. Red Phase recruits are subjected to complete, utter control by their drill sergeants, which means that every move or every action is monitored and corrected by your drill sergeants. You'll be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Drill sergeants will make you feel like you're being treated like a child. Often, you will be given tasks with a ridiculous time constraint in which you will fail. As previously stated in my other videos, do not ask why to your drill sergeants. Don't even worry about the why. In fact, don't even think. Just do what you're told. Just do what you're damn well told, private, and you'll be all right. You will quickly learn how to be more like a team player and not independent, meaning I did my part, I did what I needed to do. Or you will often find yourselves in the front lean and rest position, which is the push-up position, for the smallest mistakes or infractions. The purpose of corrective training, i.e. push-ups or the front lean and rest position, is to foster a teamwork environment and attention to detail. Upon arriving to your basic training site, you will go through another shakedown, making sure that you have all the necessary equipment and gear needed to complete Army basic training and to weed out any additional contraband that didn't get turned in or identified throughout your reception battalion shakedown. Throughout Red Phase, you'll learn about the Army history, the Army Corps values, traditions, and ethics of the Army. You'll learn how to assemble and disassemble your M16 rifle or your M4 rifle. You will learn how to correct a misfeed or a malfunction and how to overall handle your rifle. You'll be prepping for BRM or Basic Rifleman Marksmanship, where you go to White Phase where you'll shoot for 2 weeks straight to qualify with 40 rounds and 40 targets. So hit them all, hit as many as you can. You'll learn about nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare, the history, and you will be introduced to your equipment. You'll eventually work your way into the gas chamber where you will learn to trust your equipment, how to don your gas mask, and they will open up a canister of CS gas, which is the same thing as a pepper spray that they use at riots and such. To mess with you, drill sergeants will make you take off your gas mask at the very end prior to you leaving the gas chamber, making you recite whatever they feel like making you recite. For example, you may have to recite the Soldier's Creed, the Army values, the Warrior ethos, the Army song, whatever they feel that you need to say in order to earn the privilege to leave the gas chamber, that's when they'll make you do it. This is forcing you to understand what it feels like to breathe in CS gas. I've never heard of anyone dying in a gas chamber. Or have they? Anyway, good luck. You'll learn about security and crowd dispersion techniques and discipline. You'll learn about how to clean your barracks, to clean and clean some more, and then find out that you still have to clean because it's still not clean. Why? Because this is when you will have your first barracks inspection, and all throughout the different phases of basic training, you will have various barracks inspections. Drill sergeants have a knack of finding something dirty, so you make sure that every nook and cranny of your barracks is super clean. And don't expect that the first time that you have your drill sergeant go in there and check to see if the barracks are clean, because guess what? Drill sergeant come back and say, still dirty, keep cleaning. Eventually, you will get the all clear and you will move on to the next task. You will be running a lot throughout Red Phase. You will conduct various daylight ruck marches and conduct physical fitness Monday through Fridays, which is organized PT or organized physical training, conducting PRT, physical readiness training. Drill sergeants will spend a crap load of time in the very beginning to teach you PRT techniques, ranging from the preparation drills to the conditioning drills, military movement drills, climbing drills, so on and so forth. Drill sergeants will be walking through each exercise, demonstrating for you so that you have a very thorough understanding of what each exercise is good for and how to properly execute that exercise. You're obviously going to have a very intense training experience, and you will have a super tight schedule, training 7 days a week. Drill sergeants will continuously be reinforcing the principles of discipline and teamwork. You'll go through 1 to 3 days worth of hand-to-hand combat training, which consists of kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, which is essentially ground fighting. This is also the time where you will put together all your rifle drills for pugils. Pugils is where you have that padded stick and then you will go eventually into a big circle, and 2 people will be in that circle and will have to fight using the pugil sticks for 1 to 2 minutes. And this will feel like eternity. So this is the moment that if you have beef with somebody and you want to call them out, this is the moment where you can legally beat the living daylights out of somebody in the pugils training. So I'm telling you right now, call out that one person that is pissing you off, because you can take out your aggression and it will be A-okay. This event will gas you out and you will tire fast. You will also learn valuable map reading skills and as a group conduct land navigation course with your drill sergeant. The teamwork development course is a ton of fun. It was one of my highlights of basic training, and it may be for you too. You will be subjected to various obstacles, and the drill sergeants will give you a block of instruction with limited advice and tips on how to accomplish the task, because it's developed for you as a soldier and as a group to work together to develop a game plan to accomplish the task. Because once the drill sergeant says go, no talking. You have to work together as a team. And drill sergeants are looking to see who is a leader and who is a follower. So that way in the future, if they want to assign somebody in a student leadership position, acting student first sergeant, the platoon guide, squad leaders, or team leaders. And it doesn't matter what your education type, what your skin color is, or how old you are, every idea is a good idea, and you never know who would have a good idea to accomplish the task. You'll receive first aid training, commonly known as Combat Lifesaver. You will be trained on how to properly evaluate a casualty, dressing wounds, how to apply a tourniquet, how to splint fractures or hold in place broken limbs, and dehydration treatment. And all throughout basic training, you will be doing D&C, or drill and ceremony. You'll learn about the stationary positions, facing movements, and marching drills. Your column left, column right, marching together, making right or left hand turns essentially. Extending PT formation, which is a double arm interval, and just a regular dress right dress, which is a regular normal 1 arm length formation, which you'll see. You'll learn about open ranks when the drill sergeants check to see if males are properly clean shaven for the day, making sure your nails aren't dirty, hands are clean, and overall looking at your uniform, making sure that you are in the proper uniform of the day. I highly suggest that prior to leaving that you already know these stationary positions and facing movements. Definitely practice rendering the salute in the mirror. And also your about face, which is the toughest of the 3 facing movements. Welcome to White Phase. This is weeks 4 through 6. Which is also referred to as the rifleman or gunfighter phase. This phase focuses on furthering your combat skills with the specialist emphasis on weapons. You'll further learn how to handle your rifle by learning how to identify, track, target, and engage your enemy. Majority of White Phase is all about marksmanship. You will go to BRM, which is your basic rifle marksmanship, and you will shoot for a total of 2 weeks. At the very end, for basic training graduation, which is a requirement, you must hit a certain amount of targets with the 40 rounds provided to you. So there are 40 rounds and 40 targets ranging from 25 meters, which is considered fast Freddy, all the way up to 300 meters. Good luck. Knock down as many targets as you possibly can. In this phase, you will learn how to zero your rifle. That way, if you pick up any rifle and if you put it back to mechanical zero, theoretically, you should be able to go a certain amount of clicks with the front sight and the back sight apparature, and you should be able to shoot that rifle and be on point or on target. You will be introduced to various hand grenades. You will learn how to throw your hand grenades to have the most effective technique to have the maximum results. And you will throw them in a various hand grenade course so that you can familiarize yourself on how to toss them in the event that you have to throw your hand grenades. You will, at basic training, have the ability and the opportunity to throw 2 live hand grenades. And drill sergeants will make sure that you don't accidentally drop it, and their responsibility is to protect you and themselves, but primarily you. So don't F it up. Attention to detail here, because if you don't listen to your drill sergeants, you could lose your life and possibly kill your drill sergeant in the process. It's not worth losing your limb or your life because you didn't want to listen to your drill sergeant and have attention to detail. Hand grenades is no joke. Don't mess around. In the white phase, you will do the warrior tower. The tower is about 50 feet off the ground, so listen to the instructions of your drill sergeant and have fun. And you will see, and I'm kidding you not, the buffest, the most cock diesel for no reason recruit who's cocky will be the first one to start crying like a little baby. This is actually pretty funny to see. Trust me, you'll see it. I promise you, you will. Again, you will have another barracks inspection throughout white phase. You will continuously be studying from your blue book, which is that book I told you about that you received at reception, learning about the 7 Army Corps values, the Soldier's Creed, the Warrior Ethos, Army Time, the Phonetic Alphabet, and so much more. So keep reading. Down below, I'll include the link to downloading the current blue book. You will be exposed to more night training and Army physical fitness training. Physical fitness never ends. By now, you're getting physically tougher and the exercises and the workouts aren't as intense because you're getting used to it. You're getting stronger. By now, drill sergeants are probably not as scary as you initially thought. By now, drill sergeants are transitioning from drill sergeant mode, where they go bat crazy, to drill sergeant as a coaching mode, where they take the time to address things, teach you, and walk you through things in a calm tone of voice. Also, in this phase, you will familiarize yourself with anti-tank and armor weapon systems. You will have Weapons Day, where you will familiarize yourself with various weapons from your M16 all the way up to an anti-tank missile. This is also fun, but in white phase, you will also do the confidence course, which is a series of obstacles lined up back to back. Drill sergeants will demonstrate each obstacle so you have a thorough understanding, and you will do a walkthrough and try and attempt each obstacle. Once you've accomplished the demonstration and walkthrough of each obstacle, the drill sergeants will have you platoon by platoon run through the entire confidence course, which is the obstacle course, and the platoon with the shortest time possible will win or earn the streamer to put onto your guidon, which is your platoon's flag. These streamers, consider them like Pokemon. You gotta collect them all. So that streamer will be proudly displayed on your guidon. So the more you have, the more bragging rights your drill sergeants will have about you guys. A little bit on a side note, here's a huge tip for you. Don't ever have your drill sergeant or other platoons steal, we don't steal in the Army, acquire your guidon. Don't ever lose your guidon. So whoever your guidon bearer is, make sure that they secure it always. Or plan on getting stronger, because you will get smoked. You can earn various streamers for having your platoon's overall average for APFT, Barracks Inspection, the Confidence Course, Drill and Ceremony, Weapons Qualification, and so much more. By the time you complete white phase, you are 2/3 done with basic training. You are now entering blue phase, which is weeks 7 through 10, which is commonly referred to as the warrior phase. Blue phase is the final phase before graduation. Here, you will continually build upon your tactical training. Here, you will build upon your individual tactical training. You will increase your leadership skills and self-discipline. This will also include some challenges and test your skill sets that you've learned throughout basic training for graduation. During this phase, you will learn advanced techniques with rifle marksmanship and using aiming tools like the laser, maneuvering and engaging enemy targets as a team. You will learn and execute convoy operations. A convoy is a series of vehicles lined up tactically and going from point A to point B. You will have additional weapons training with machine guns, grenade launchers, and mines. You'll learn how to defeat mines and improvise explosive devices, or commonly known as IEDs. Like an infantry soldier, you will learn how to clear out rooms using mount training, which stands for military operations in an urban terrain. So you will look like your favorite movie and or TV star, stacking up on each other and blasting through a room, clearing it out and engaging with the enemy to accomplish your task. Breaching rooms in a training environment is super fun, but pay attention, especially if you're gonna be an infantryman, because these skill sets, although it's fun in a training environment, in a real world scenario, it is scary as. So as a civilian, you hike, but all throughout basic training, you will do various ruck marches at various distances. So in blue phase, you will conduct your 10 and 15 kilometer ruck marches, usually to and from your bivouac site at your field training exercise, or your FTX for short. Your bivouac site is where you set up your tents or your big tent, depending on whatever your standard operating procedure is at your basic training site, or you may be digging a hole. It's kind of like a bivouac site is like your campsite, wherever you're stationed in the woods. The FTX is where your EOCT happens, your end of the cycle testing, where you will be tested on every skill set that you've learned up until this point, which will be based on a go or no-go status. After your FTX, you will conduct your final, for record, APFT test, your Army Physical Fitness test. So dig deep, especially if you're struggling, whether it's the running, push-ups, or sit-ups. I don't care. You do what is necessary to pass. This is the end of the line, so you need to dig deeper and try harder. The real work doesn't begin until you get tired, so push through the pain. So buckle up, Buttercup, and give it your best. If you can walk away and say to yourself, I could have tried harder, or I could have done better, you didn't give your best. Failing APFT or any other basic training requirement could force you to go to another phase to complete the task. In worst case scenario, you'll get recycled or restart at best at the beginning of the current phase that you're in. Second to worst case scenario is you get enrolled back to red phase, which you don't want. Worst case scenario, you get discharged from the Army. Following your FTX, you will start your last week of blue phase, which is recovery week, prepping for Army basic training graduation. You're gonna get that itch and feel anxious that you are almost finished. Don't mess it up. Don't get complacent. You're still in basic training. Do what you're told. Do everything that is expected of you, and you will be fine and you will graduate. Some of you will get stupid and do or say something that's gonna get them in trouble and get recycled or kicked out. So don't mess up. Recovery week or graduation week is the last week of basic training. Here is when you deep clean your rifle. And this will take days to do, and sometimes 24 hours straight, because they want you to have the cleanest weapon. This part sucks, but when you take your weapon to your drill sergeant to be inspected for cleanliness, I guarantee you the first 3 times you go to give it in, they're going to tell you that it's still dirty. And the one part of your weapon that is the most difficult to clean is in the upper receiver, where the round goes down the barrel. That's called and referred to as the crown. The best way to clean that is to dig your pinky in there, curl it in like this, and get underneath that crown. Once you get your weapon and you start cleaning, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So just remember that. Pinky's better than Q-tips or any other device that you have to clean your weapon. Use your pinky. So don't be offended when drill sergeants send you back to keep cleaning your weapon. It will be frustrating. Then you will clean up all your TA-50. Every piece of equipment and gear that you were issued for basic training will get cleaned and turned in to your supply sergeant. i.e. your helmet, your vest, belt, your water source, everything that's not needed to move on to your advanced individual training or your job training, that is what you'll be cleaning and giving back. Then you'll be tasked with cleaning the barracks, and I mean clean, deep clean. In the Army, we believe that you always leave the place that you're at better than how you found it. So make sure that it's super, super clean, because this will be your final barracks inspection, and they usually have a general come through to inspect your barracks. So take pride in it, clean the hell out of your barracks, make sure that every nook and cranny is dusted, wiped down, mopped, buffed, whatever. Make sure it's done. The window ledges, anything that has a slight edge to it, make sure it's wiped down and dusted, because drill sergeants will be inspecting every little thing that you could think of. Think of it like an auto detailer. They get to the smallest detail when cleaning and buffing and polishing everything. You will also start graduation rehearsal, walking across the stage and whatnot. You'll be rehearsing until you're sick and tired of rehearsing. Towards the end, you will have family day, where any family or friends who came to watch you graduate, you can hang out with them for a few hours on family day, which is the day before graduation. Then you will have graduation. Graduation ceremony is roughly an hour long, and you will have a guest speaker who will talk about a very inspiring and motivational speech. And there you will reflect on everything that you went through, every blood, sweat, and tear that you endured in those 10 weeks is all of a sudden worth it. Now you have earned the title of a United States soldier. So stand tall, be proud, and get ready for AIT. Next week, I will be going over day 1 through the first 72 hours of basic training in super grave detail, like ridiculous detail. This will include the infamous shark attack that we all love to hear and see on social media, that has been sensationalized on social media. So you definitely don't want to miss that video. I am a recruiter located in New York City and looking for our next citizen soldier. My contact info is down below this video in the description area. Thank you all so much for your engagement and for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.